What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails of Cold Steel. Of course, at the main menu, because last time we finished off and, I stopped playing for the day. So, because we were at the end of a chapter, once we boot up the game, it's going to start whatever is going to be happening next. By the way, I did rewatch the opening before hitting record on this video. I was actually wrong. It doesn't show the entire class fighting against the dragon. It really was just the 5 in the opening, so I just remembered that incorrectly. But as you can see, this was the only real difference of the title screen, was that you can see the Heimdallr buildings here, kind of as they're taking the train through. So that was the only difference with this chapter. But looks like we're going to be moving on to Chapter 5, and I guess going back to our normal school activities for a little while. So let's see what happens. Yep, it was the end of Chapter 4 where we ended off. Alright, let's see what's gonna happen. How far ahead are we jumping ahead in time? August 18th. Alright.
8月中旬、夏の盛り、うだるような暑さがトリスタの街を包み込む時期。デートから帰還した俺たちは5日ほどの短い夏季休暇を終えて授業や訓練を再開していた。
I mean, 5 days is pretty nice. Although, did Rean actually rest during that time, or did he help the student council?
そもそも士官学院は軍と同じく年末年始以外の長期休暇は存在しない。だが貴族生徒に限っては将来の領地運営の勉強などの名目で故郷への帰省が認められており、
Okay.
この時期1組2組の生徒たちのほぼ全員がトリスタから離れていた。そんな中3組から5組までの生徒は彼らを羨みながらも勉学と修練に励み、
Yeah, it doesn't really seem too fair. The nobles get to go home on vacation while the commoners stay at school.
俺たち7組のメンバーも全員がトリスタにとどまっていた。
Mm-hmm. $8:30. Yep, everyone's here. Oh, it's so hot. I'm dying in here. I'm sick of this heat already. Talking about it is just making me feel even hotter. The Academy should install an orbital air conditioner. At least it'd be a little easier to cope. An orbital air conditioner? What is that? Well, it's a device that blows out cool air to help regulate a room's temperature. Maybe it'd help you think of it as the opposite of a stove. Wow, that's some kind of wizardry. I've heard of them, but aren't they supposed to be prohibitively expensive? Only the most modern buildings seem to be able to afford them. Do you have one in your house? Well, there's one in the Rhineford Company headquarters, yeah. It'd be nice if my mother could spare one, for the academy she sits on the board of directors for. Haha, seems to be a bit much to hope for. This is a military academy, so I doubt we can expect to be indulged quite that much. Still, a machine that keeps us cool in the summer? Whoever first invented it should get a medal. I'll admit, the summer heat here is more difficult to cope with than in Legram. But as long as I think of it as another part of my training, it doesn't bother me all that much. Very hard gets similar summer heat waves, but there's usually a breeze blowing in from the canyon this time of year. That does make summers a bit easier to manage. My hometown's up in the mountains, so it's pretty cool even around this time of year. Actually, now that you mention it, I would have thought the 3 of you would have go home for the summer, being nobles and all. You were given permission, weren't you? Haha, if everyone else was going home, I would have considered it. But in the end, I decided against it. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago I got to see Elise. Maybe next year. I came here to train. Until I feel like I've made significant progress, I have no intention of returning home. Ha! Some of you saw my father's mansion. Do you think I'd go back to a place like that willingly? I'd much rather stay here and take my chances with Heatstroke. You're really that uncomfortable at home, huh? Still, as hot as it is, there's a lot going on right now. I doubt all the people headed to that conference at the end of the month have much time to be worrying about the heat. You make a good point. You're talking about the West Zemuria Trade Conference, right? That's the one. There's never been an international conference on that scale before, at least not in modern times. Mayor Dieter Kreuz, we will learn about that when we get to Azure, who also happens to be the International Bank of Crossbell CEO, was the one who first proposed it. I've heard that Prince Olivert will be attending on behalf of His Majesty the Emperor. And Chancellor Osborne is supposed to be attending too. Seems crazy to think we met them only a few weeks ago. The Chancellor in particular was a pretty intimidating figure. Seemed like a big scary monster. I've heard he served in the Imperial Army before becoming a politician. Then 11 years ago, His Majesty entrusted him with the position of Chancellor. Supposedly, a full 70% of the Imperial Army is under his jurisdiction. His real fame comes from establishing the most of the nation's railway network centered on the capital. Though he's also been responsible for annexing several smaller countries and independent states around Erebonia. I believe all those took place without any bloodshed, though, as far as I'm aware. I wouldn't put too much stock into what he's selling. Military spending in this country has increased exponentially since he took up his position as Chancellor. And that's only possible thanks to the tax revenue he gleans from the people of Heimdallar and those annexed nations. Well, he was the one who ordered the construction of those 2 railway guns they've got pointed at Crossbell, too. Yeah, we're aware. At one point, Erebonia was on the verge of a full-scale war with Calvard because of those things. I believe it. Oh yeah, I heard it was actually Libero that proposed a way to avoid an armed conflict. They ended up signing the Non-Aggression Pact, right? Yeah, though as I'm sure you've noticed, there's still quite a bit of tension between the 2 countries. I wouldn't be surprised if the issue reared its head again during the trade conference. Chancellor Osborne's been a really popular figure in the capital, though. Popular enough that he seems to have a group of terrorists after him. He does seem to be the Imperial Liberation Front's main target, doesn't he? You know, the hammer of judgment that shall topple the dictator and all that. Indeed, they seem to harbor a deep-seated grudge against him. And their anger seemed a bit unusual in its intensity, didn't it? He does seem like the type who'd make a lot of enemies, especially with a face like that. Well, I'd rather not speak ill of my father's close ally, but... Come to think of it, isn't the instructor awfully late? It's well past time for homeroom to start. True, it should have started about 10 minutes ago, actually. Huh, I swear that woman. She better not be sleeping off another hangover back at the dormitory. Wouldn't put it past her. I wish I could say there's no way our upstanding instructor would do that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Today. Instructor.
おはようございます。おはようみんな。で、遅れたのにはちゃんと訳があってね。
Uh-huh.
今日はみんなに新しい仲間を紹介するわ。
Are we now? What?
編入生。
本当ですか？
それじゃ入ってきて。
うっす。
Really? Him? Huh?
あれ ?2 年のアームブラスト先輩？
クローアームブラストです。今日から皆さんと同じ7組に参加させてもらいます。
What? Why?
てなわけで、よろしく頼むわ。
What?
どういうことですか？
いやー、これには非常に深刻かつデリケートな事情があってだな。
よく言うわよ。こいつ一年時の単位をサボっていくつか落としててね。
Of course he did.
このままじゃ卒業できないって慌てて泣きついてきたのよ。それで特例として3ヶ月ほど7組に参加することになったわけ。
なんだそれは。思いっきりどうしようもない理由じゃないですか。
知ってるかもしれないけど、去年アークスの試験導入に参加した実績もあるからね。
Yeah, we're aware.
その点に関しては君たちのいいお手本になるかと判断したの。特別実習にも参加してもらうから、そのつもりでいてちょうだい。
いや、一通り説明されちまったか。ま、そういうわけでよろしくな。同じクラスになったからには先輩後輩抜きで行くとしようぜ。
ほう、なかなかそういうわけにはいかぬと思うが。
ぶっちゃけ軽すぎ。
サラ教官、扉が開いたままということは。
Uh-huh. Wait, is there someone else too?
それって。あら、バレちゃった？というわけで出てきて挨拶しなさい。待ちくたびれちゃったよ。
Oh, it's the girl with the robot. What?
何？
Yeah, Milliam.
君は。
ノルド高原で会った。
お久しぶりだね。初めての人もいるから改めて自己紹介するね。僕はミリアムオライオンだよ。こっちがガーちゃん。正式名称はアガートラム。
Nah. It even has a pose.
オーロックストリデで見た。
するとノルド高原でそなたたちが会ったという。
ああ、そのでっかいのは教室内で出すのは禁止ね。下手に壁でも壊されたら私が怒られちゃうから。
しょうがないな。そんなわけでよろしくね、7組のみんな。
Everyone's speechless. Tell me you're kidding, please.
私もその方が面倒がなくていいんだけどね。
なかなか面白くなりそうじゃねえの。
We have two new students. Crow and Milliam are joining the class. Pretty late into the game, but alright. 3 days went by. At first, no one was sure what to make of Crow Armbrust and Intelligence Division agent Milliam Orion's sudden transfer into Class 7. But within a matter of days, it almost felt like they'd been there all along. I'm sure none of you need to be reminded that it was none other than Emperor Drykles who entered the War of the Lions. But did you know that historical records tell us he had amazingly few soldiers under his command? Initially, his allies numbered only a few confidants in the several warriors from Nord. And while supporters rallied to him in each region, his ranks still couldn't hope to compare to the other prince's armies. Nonetheless, they continued to advance, liberating region after region, and after half a year of bloody battles, Prince Drykles met perhaps his most well-known supporter. Milliam, right? Would you happen to know the historical figure to whom I'm referring? Sure do. Leanne Sandlot. Oh, so she knows. Also known as the Lance Maiden. Ooh, right you are. Well done. And of course, Crow sleeping in the back. Sandlot was the daughter of a count who ruled over a remote region, and accounts tell us she showed great martial skill from a young age. In particular, her skill with the lance was unparalleled. No records exist of her ever being bested in combat. The Lance Maiden also had a group of mighty warriors under her command, who fought alongside her in battle. Perhaps you'd like to illuminate us as to the name of the famous band, Reen? The group of mighty warriors is led by the Lance Maiden. That's the... It's the, not the Gralsritter, that's the church. It's the Eisenritter. The Eisenritter, also known as the Iron Knights. They were a band of knights said to be able to charge across the battlefield like lightning, cutting down all in their path. Correct, you've done your homework. The Wandering Prince, I do wonder if you say Gralsritter, are they gonna be like, no, that's the church. The Wandering Prince met the Lance Maiden one day during a prolonged conflict in a remote region of the country. After recognizing each other as reliable and trustworthy, they pledged to fight together under united banner. With the Lance Maiden and her knights bolstering his ranks, Dracul's army swept through one region after another. In just a year, he was able to defeat the other princes and free the imperial capital, Heimdallr. How did Reen know when to sit down? As an interesting footnote, the castle the Eisenritter used as their base of operations 250 years ago just so happens to be a hop, skip, and a jump away from Laura's home in Legram. Indeed, it's known as Lohengrin Castle. It's a beautiful old building situated on the shore of Lake Ebel, to the west of Legram. Oh, you've mentioned that before. Does anyone live there now? No, due to the dangerous terrain there, no one goes near it. These days, it exists simply as a relic of a bygone age. The Arcade family is responsible for the care and maintenance of the castle, though really only minimal work is done. Speaking of the Arcade house, wasn't one of your ancestors the Eisenritter's second in command? Indeed, the Lance Maiden's most trusted assistant and confidant, from what I understand. The Sandlot family line ended with the death of the Lance Maiden, and it's partly because of that the Arcade family mourns her death each year. Crow's still asleep. You can see the Z's coming from his head. I see. Ooh, what a fascinating story. Legram, huh? Never had a mission there, so I've never been able to go. Maybe I should have stopped by when I went to Berryheart a while back. You'd think she'd at least try to conceal the fact that she gets sent all over the country on secret missions. I know, she totally let it slip that she was doing something in Berryheart, too. Well, I suppose it's better than her being all distant and cagey around us. I suppose so. Okay, so tomorrow's a free day, of course, which means that next Wednesday you'll have your usual practical exam. You better all bring your A game. Oh, Milliam and Crow? A few must-have instructional materials you guys are going to need as part of Class 7 finally showed up. I'll hand that stuff off to you once we're done here, so I want you to come with me to the faculty lounge. Righto. Man, what a drag. Alright, homeroom's out for the day. Flee. Flee while you can. Machias, if you'll do the honors. Yes, instructor. All rise. Bow. Interesting that they haven't changed. I mean, Milliam changed uniforms, but Crow's still wearing green. So, what do you think? Well, I don't think we have to be on guard around her, at least. Same. Though, I'd rather she kept that giant silver thing of hers hidden. I don't think she's a bad girl. I was taking a nap in the courtyard yesterday, and she came and fell asleep next to me. What does that have to do with whether or not she's trustworthy? They look like a couple of kittens all curled up together. Their personalities may be worlds apart, but they're both rather cat-like in their own ways. She can't be more than 12 or 13. She's practically a child. Yeah, you're right. She's all chipper all the time. It's hard to really be cold toward her. Yeah, I don't think I could bring myself to spurn her. She's got that natural charm, I think. Be that as it may, her presence here reeks of blood and iron, if you take my meaning. Well, it certainly seems that way.
私としてもささやかながらさらなる協力をさせて
Oh, is that what he meant by it? The Milliam is the assistants?
ま、楽しみにしてくれたまえ
It's hard to believe a girl like that could be an agent of the intelligence division. But just going off what happened in Nord, there's not much that would make me doubt it now. And there's that thing, Ergetlim, that's always with her. She calls it Lammy. Even she says Kachan in Japanese. So it's something related to, I don't know if that translates exactly to Lammy, but aside from its name, we don't really know anything about it. It seems to be made from some strange material with both metallic and ceramic properties. Hard but pliable. Agreed. Doesn't look like anything you could make even with the most cutting-edge orbital technology. When I touched it, it felt really nice and cold. Wow, so you actually touched it? It hasn't escaped my notice that it seems strikingly similar to the combat shells we fight in our practical exams. I think it's safe to assume they share some kind of common origin. Yeah. The instructor said she was forced to accept it. Though in a sense, Milliam was forced on us too. You're welcome to think what you will, but I don't trust her. Either way, she's technically our classmate now, like it or not. It may be a little early to tell whether we can trust her as a friend, but we should be able to figure out pretty quickly whether we can count on her as a member of Class 7. Ah. Well, that's a logical way of breaking it down, at least. You're right, it's still pretty early to make sweeping judgments. Knowing her background would be great, but what's really important is whether we can count on her in a fight. Agreed, as students of a military academy, that's probably the most important issue. We'll have to wait and see. Well, considering we're living in the same dormitory, it'd be good if we all got along. Yeah, I wouldn't want her to think we're trying to make her feel unwelcome either. And then there's Crow. What's he like, Reen? You seem like you get along with him pretty well. I don't know if I'd put it quite like that. If I had to say, I'd describe him as a capricious gambling addict, way too prone to ante up for every hand. Eidos, help us. He sounds like the kind of miscreant one would be better off avoiding. You can count on him when the chips are down, though. He really helped me out last month when Elise went into the old schoolhouse. He's good in a fight and pretty handy with his Arcus, too. Maybe we're worrying over nothing, then. Still, I'm not really sure how to connect with him, you know? Well, at least we're in separate dorms for the time being. We'll just have to see how things go. Alright, I guess we'll just enjoy the rest of our day before the free day. Great, now what? Hello, Range Wars are speaking.
リン君、今ちょっといいかな。
Toa? Toa, well, this is a surprise. What can I do for you?
7組に新しい子が入ったでしょ。学生手帳ができたから早めに渡しておこうと思って。
Of course.
その前にも渡したし、リン君に頼んでもいいかな。
Ah, you're talking about Milliam. Sure thing, I'll come get it right away. You want me to swing by the student council room then?
よろしくね。
She sure doesn't waste any time. I should head over to the student council room before it gets too late. I would have to agree. But we can see who's hanging out where first. In the main building. Oh, hi, Colette. All the classrooms seem to be locked right now since classes are out. Class 7's a whole lot livelier these days, isn't it? Even putting Crow aside, I never would have expected some girl we met in Nord would become our classmate. Life's just full of surprises. It feels like they've already become part of the fabric of our class, too. Definitely. I don't think we should have any trouble getting along with them. Well, for now at least. You two seem more like responsible adults than any of us, Instructor Sarah included. You think you can look after Milliam? Not a problem. We're all classmates after all, helping each other out's what we do. Cool. Originally, Hibel was going to be our lead violinist. Now, though, I'm on the hook for it. I was worried at first since it seemed so out of the blue, but things seem to be shaping up nicely now. You know, I had my doubts at first, but now I feel like I made the right decision choosing this academy. And one way I'll know for sure is if I can help this performance go off without a hitch. Makes me glad to hear. I'll be cheering you on. Who's playing the piano? Is that Bridget? It is. We'll be setting up a piano in the church on the day of the concert. This is going to be a fantastic concert. Everyone's been practicing really hard. Oh, I guess he got hurt. I hurt my arm pretty bad last month. I'm not going to be able to play in the concert tomorrow. I'll just have to leave it in the hands of Elliot and the others. I'm pretty frustrated with myself, but all I can do now is help them with whatever they need. Cooking class. Your painting has really been improving, Gaius. Meanwhile, I've hardly gotten any better. It's all thanks to you and Clara. You guided me along a path I never would have found my way through on my own. I couldn't be more thankful. Haha, oh please, it all comes down to you working harder than anyone else. Cool to see Gaius and Linde getting along. Alright, I guess we could go to the first floor, check in on... Where'd Crow run off to? Principal at his desk. The Wind Orchestra will be holding a performance at the chapel in town tomorrow. I'm handing out flyers in the hopes that everyone will come to see it. Please come along if you have the time too, Reen. Sure. Is Crow even in here? I don't even see him. Now that you have your uniform and equipment, you should be good to go. Thanks, Teach. Good energy, I like it. I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around how someone like you ended up in Ironblood, though. That boss of yours is a real mystery, man. You're pretty mysterious yourself. Seems like your life was really interesting before you started teaching. Now, who could have told you that? She asked the girl from the Imperial Intelligence Division. Milliam, let me give you a word of advice. His Majesty might have gotten you into this academy, but in my class, you're just another student. Just keep that in mind and everything will be gravy, okay? Righto! What do regular student-teacher relationships look like again? I think I've forgotten. Yeah, I don't know where Crow ran off to, though. Yeah, I guess we can go outside, see what everyone's up to. I mean, we gotta go over there anyway. Still have the Summer Festival food stalls on your mind? Nah, that's not it. I've been helping my dad at the Grand Market for years now, so the food stalls are like one of the things I live for. So now I'm just like, I want to set one up now. Uh-huh. I assume that, Vivi is probably over by the, garden. Mark my words, Milliam has yet to show her true colors. And I have every intention of exposing her true reasons for joining our class. I think maybe you're worrying about it too much. And perhaps you're not worrying enough. Our class is full of good souls, far too naive and accepting for their own... You know what? That's a good line. At least one of us needs to look at others with a critical eye, and I happen to make a rather fine skeptic. Well, I suppose having several points of view to consider is a good thing. At least try to not make her feel unwelcome, okay? Bah, fine. He just doesn't want to get stabbed in the back, I understand. I'll be challenging Alisa tomorrow. Yes, she may have outsprinted me, and indeed, she scored better on the midterms, but that is all... but all of that is in the past. The time is nigh to show her what the great Ferris Florald is truly capable of. Uh-huh, if you say so. BB, what are you up to? Edel's really gorgeous, isn't she? And that body of hers is like, wow! I just have to get my hands on it. Otherwise, what's the point of being in this stupid club? Gardening, perhaps? Uh-huh, alright. Looks like my plants are growing up pretty well now. You can do it, flowers. They should bloom soon enough. Almost there. I didn't actually mean to talk to her again. I decided not to go home for summer vacation. I just couldn't bring myself to leave all the flowers behind after all. Oh, I guess Edel is a noble, I guess, then. Fee's flowers are really coming in their own now, too. I didn't even consider that Edel would be a noble. Hey, Alan. With Patrick on, I've got the chance to close the skill gap between us. He's gonna be in for a shock next time we face off. Well, keep that confidence. You seem more comfortable with what you're doing now, Monica. Perhaps you should try increasing your distance. That said, there's no need to rush. Your pace should be entirely up to you. I know, one step at a time. Cool. Is that everybody? I really don't know where Crow ran off to. Could he be in the engineering building? He just doesn't have a picture right now. Or I wonder if he went to the old schoolhouse. I guess we could run down there and see. Nope, there is no one here. Let's take a little look in here. No, but Angelica's here. Hey, Reen, how's Crow fitting in with your class? Perfectly. It's like he's been there since our first day. That's good to hear. Well, make sure you get some use out of him. He might be lazy, but he knows what he's doing when things get serious. I've noticed. Now that we have Milliam to worry about, I'm sure we'll be relying on him quite a bit. Feel free to ask us or Toa if you need anything too. We'll try to help you out however we can. Thanks, I will. Alright, let's go say hi to Toa then. Oh, there are some nobles still here, like this guy. That's cool. Oh yeah, I guess it did say Machias was here. It's possible that my father might have had a hand in Milliam joining our class, given he's on the board of directors. I doubt he knows much more about the intelligence division's plans than we do, though. I think it's likely he helped facilitate her transfer to the academy, at the very least. They seem like they know each other, too. His close friendship with the Chancellor might have deeper implications than I thought. Let's do it. Sorry if I disturbed you. Oh, Rean, not at all. Sorry for making you come all the way out here. Don't worry about it, it's class business anyway. That's quite a spread you've got on your desk there. Is it just me, or does your workload only ever seem to increase? Well, I've got a little extra going on right now. It's keeping me a little busier than normal. Anyway, this is Milliam's notebook. Crow's already got one, along with the added pages on the Arcus units you all have, so she's the last one who needs it. Alright, I'll be sure to pass this along to Milliam next time I see her. Actually, if you don't mind my asking, how much do you know about why she's here at the Academy? All I know is she came with a recommendation from the Army's Intelligence Division, really. You know those combat shells you fight with in your practical exams? They're being used with the Emperor's authorization. Apparently it's something similar for Milliam. They can't deny her admission if the Emperor's pushing it through. This goes all the way up to His Majesty? Seems like it. The Chancellor was the one who set up both the Intelligence Division and the RMP. But neither of those organizations could have established without His Majesty's consent. That's what's unusual. Anyway, because of that, the Academy really can't turn down a direct referral with that kind of backing. So that's how it is. But even accounting for that, I never would have expected Crow to be transferred into our class too. Yeah, I was just as shocked as you when I found out. I knew he was a habitual class cutter, but I always figured he at least had enough credits to graduate. I feel like a failure as a student council president for not noticing. Maybe even a failure as a friend. Whoa there, I think you're being a little too hard on yourself. What about Angelica? Does she have enough credits to graduate? Angie at least makes sure to attend the classes she needs for graduation. Apparently, Crow not only hasn't attended enough class units, he also didn't turn in some essential assignments. But as long as he's active and engaged with his Class 7 work over the next couple months, he'll be able to graduate. Still, I get the distinct feeling this 1-2 punch of transfer students wasn't just a happy coincidence. Am I right? Well, yeah. The principal thought placing Crow in Class 7 might be beneficial for the rest of you, too. His grades might be a sorry sight, but he really knows how to get things done when he wants to. Did you know he was responsible for all of the event planning at last year's Academy Festival? Crow did that? Voluntarily? It might be kind of awkward having a second year in your class, but I hope you guys will all get along. That goes for Milliam too, of course. She might have an unusual background, but at the end of the day, she's still a 13-year-old girl. Yeah, I get what you mean. So she really is 13 then. Yeah, she scored really well on her entrance exam though, so I think she can handle the curriculum fine. She may be small, but she can roll up her sleeves with the best of them. Now, where have I heard of someone like that before? Oh, sorry, looks like I got a call coming in. Go ahead and answer, I don't mind. I wouldn't want you to miss anything important. Alright, excuse me then. Hello, Rean Schwarzer speaking. Hello, Rean, is your favorite instructor here? Are you still in the Academy grounds by any chance? As much as it pains me to say it, I am. No need to sound so suspicious. It's just that after I gave Milliam all the things I had for her, she took off somewhere. You know how she tends to be kind of a mischief maker, so could you find her and drag her back to the dorms for me? Alright. I can only imagine what would happen if she were to flash that silver thing of hers around at the Academy grounds again. Yeah, I'd really avoid a repeat of yesterday. Anyway, I leave it in your capable hands, brave leader of Class 7. Moi? Wait a second, when did I become the... She really does trust you. Anyway, I'll let you go then. Are you still up for helping me with a few requests tomorrow? Of course, I'll be around. Still, I know you've got a full slate and all, but try not to overwork yourself. If there's anything I can do to make life a little easier for you, don't hesitate to ask. Sure, and thanks. Where'd you run off to, Milliam? Alright, guess I better start looking for Milliam. But where do I even start? She could be almost anywhere. I should probably ask a couple of the others for help. I doubt I'll accomplish much by checking places at random. Come to think of it, I haven't gotten Crow's number yet either. I think 2 other classmates would be enough for this, though I should remember to ask him when I get the chance. Oh, so you can just pick anybody? Let's have a noble party. I can see why you're concerned. It certainly doesn't seem prudent to just let her wander the campus unattended. I imagine it's such a change of scenery for her that she's just walking around taking it all in. Yeah, I think you're right. I doubt she's left the academy grounds yet, though, so we should be able to find her. I'll just have to think, if I were new here, what would be the most interesting, and check all those places. Very well. We really need to get her back to the dormitory at once. But I think with that, we'll end things off here. I'm pretty sure that odds are she's probably at the old schoolhouse. That would be my guess. But we obviously have to follow all the different locations here. But we will do that next time. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.